Hi, I'm Grant Musselman, and we're going to be talking about drug testing in the workplace today. So, drug testing in the workplace. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, since the year 1987, there has been a 277% increase in drug testing that occurs in the workplace. Now, when it comes to something as controversial as regulations surrounding drugs, there's a good chance there's going to be two sides, and that sure is the case for drug testing in the workplace. So throughout history, no matter what any government or organization has ever done, people still find a way to use drugs. And now modern day, employers have created drug testing requirements to try to regulate this never-ending cycle of drug use. So now some general arguments in favor of these regulations would be things like that they promote safety and accountability with employees, and they also heavily reduce liability. Now, some more general arguments, but this time against drug testing in the workplace, would be that they're expensive for employers, and most importantly, they violate employee privacy. Now, both sides have valid points when you look at them from the surface, but to truly understand drug testing in the workplace, we need to look at its history. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the history of drug testing in the workplace in America. In 1988, the Drug-Free Workplace Act was passed by Congress, and it set the foundation for drug testing at jobs to become a social norm in society. The act stated that any employer with a federal contract or for the federal government must ensure that their workplace is drug-free before any federal funding can be granted. This had a lot of implications all over America, including adding to the already growing stigma of the war on drugs that went from the 60s all the way until today. Personally, I believe that this act from Congress contains a lot of good ideas. However, overall, it is very flawed. Making sure that federal employees aren't actively using narcotics while serving the public is something this law helps to prevent. But employees that don't work for the government should not have to be held to the same standards as government employees. Now, this leads into the main point of my argument, that only people with a large amount of responsibilities, such as jobs like doctors, policemen, politicians, should only be allowed to be tested for drugs. Industries with less important jobs and lower level jobs should have no right to be drug testing their employees. Now, another large reason that drug testing in the workplace is unnecessary is the lack of accuracy that urine drug testing typically has. A medically reviewed 2021 article by PhD Leanne Simmons on the topic of fake results on drug testing suggests that modern urine tests can reap false positives in 5 to 10% of all tests, while false negatives can take place to upwards of 10 to 15% of all tests. This is truly insane that employers can decide the fate of a current or future employee's job off a result that can be untrue in many cases. This short clip from the Seeker YouTube channel should help explain some of the issues that people face regarding false positives in modern urine drug testing.
Part of the reason these tests sound a false alarm is because the list of things that sets them off is surprisingly long. The painkiller ibuprofen can cause a test to show positive for marijuana, barbiturates, or benzodiazepines. Cold remedies, hay fever remedies, diet pills, and nasal decongestants can show up as amphetamines. And if you like to unwind with a poppy seed muffin and a gin and tonic, the poppies or quinine in the tonic water can both trip the alarm for opiates. And, of course, eating foods with hemp seeds or taking vitamin B supplements derived from hemp seed oil can have trace amounts of THC, the active ingredient in marijuana.
I hope that this educational video from the academic YouTube channel Seeker was able to help show how some normal day items that every person uses from time to time can show up as different drugs in a urine test and how they can ruin an employee's career. Many students right here at U of SC will start to face this unnecessary testing simply just to start their career in a few years. I was able to conduct an interview with one of these students, Oliver Allen, who is an education major who will be required to be drug tested for his job on his junior year of college. When I told Ollie about the risks of false positive testing and how he felt about the possibility that he could be blacklisted from his major due to the testing error, he told me, "The fact that a false positive could be a result on my entry drug test is very concerning. In a career path that is based all off the public image, a result like this could severely damage my career before it even starts." As you can see, this is a very real issue that affects many of us and our classmates sitting all around us. So, What are people like us supposed to do about this? Well, the two biggest things that you can do to support this cause would be to first call your local congressman and tell them that you do not support drug testing in the workplace. Now, you can also donate to the American Civil Liberties Union, which is the leading interest group that fights for this cause. It is time that we change the culture in America and shift away from what is becoming more and more normal by the day. Employers should not have the right to regulate the private lives of average employees, especially when the risk of errors are so high. I hope that you will join me in supporting to end drug testing in the workplace.